الدنيا اللي مفيش فيها كره وغل، الشمس بتطلع فيها تنور قلب الكل.
الحب يكون هو لغتها والناس تستمتع بحياتها،
والخير يزيد ويفيض ويغطي حدود الأرض.
I dream a world where no one hates to hold a grudge.
Da forsto io una fotisi torna allora. Dove si vive per l'amore che riempie.
Thanks for watching. It's a special edition here on Nile TV International while we are celebrating achievements happening on Egyptian soil. Cairo University hosts the 6th National Youth Conference on Saturday with the participation of His Excellency, the Head of State, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The interactive conference will be witnessing the attendees, the attendance of 3,000 guests, including university students, professors, as well as also community members, providing a platform for free, engaging discussions over 2 consecutive days on a wide range of topics related to the improvement of education, a very important topic, how to improve the educational atmosphere in the country and how to drill down on the different underlying causes of the different challenges that are facing the young people and the possible means to address them. A very important meeting that the President himself is really keen to attend and witness this important occasion. The youth are always also keen to attend and witness with the President more concerning the different challenges and the issues that are facing the country, and also speaking with the head of state and also presenting questions through the initiative of Ask the President and more. The 2-day conference ends up with holding the session of receiving the citizens' questions and also inquiries, so that the President, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, will be providing the on-spot answers to those questions. So usually those are moments of honor also when the President honors himself, the youth, the distinctive youth of Egypt, discussing this important topic and more on the beat from Egypt concerning the youth conference. I'm really honored to have with me in the studio Dr. Ahmad Abdel-Tawab, Assistant Professor of Linguistics at Munufeya University. Dr. Abdel-Tawab, thank you so much for coming to Nile TV and joining us while we are celebrating the 6th Youth Conference.
Thank you so much, Tagreed, for having me on your show. It's an honor and a pleasure as well to be here with you today. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. And we'll be talking more concerning this important conference, the timing of the conference and the venue where we can see even here in our plasma, right beside us, the main slogan of Cairo University, that popular site, that great educational edifice, very significant venue for holding the youth conference.
As a matter of fact, yes, it's very, very important and very significant to have such events. We are talking about a very strategic element in our society, that is youth and the youngsters in our society. And when we talk about youth, I just read a recent report released by the National Agency of Statistics and Mobilization. And it says, like, the total number of the Egyptian people, 65% of them are considered as youth. So now we are talking about a strategic element that we have in our community, in our society, and I think that this is coming on the right time now to talk with youth, with the youngsters, and to grapple their issues and to handle the idea of obstacles and even the defects that we have in our lifetime. As you mentioned in your introductory part now, there is an event. It's a 2-day conference that is expected to be held on campus at Cairo University, probably the day after tomorrow, for Saturday and Sunday. It's a magnificent event that we have in Egypt, and I guess it sends a message not just regionally but globally as well. For this conference, it will handle the main idea is just how can we interact youth with the governmental officials, with the president himself, and even with the issues that is interacting in their lifetime. So according to the agenda for the conference, that there are main topics that will be discussed. For example, that there is a very interesting topic related to how to build the character of the youth, and another topic related to education and how to deal with the challenges that we have nowadays in our society when it comes to education. And I strongly believe that there is a strong connection between education and youth. Yeah. Another interesting part in the conference that will be handled, it is something related to digitalization and how to change our community to be a digitalized community. This is quite a bit significant as well. And there is one more topic related to the health insurance system that we have in Egypt.
Yes.
As you know, I was in the United States. I was working there for a while. And there was a system related to the health insurance for every citizen. And I usually was asking myself a simple question. If we just make a comparison between Egypt and another country like the US, now we will have something related to health insurance program for everyone in this country. And there is another fantastic idea at the end, at the conclusion of the conference. It's related to Ask the President initiative. I mean, this is fabulous because in this way, we're going to have something like a direct conversation between the youth and the president. And this is what we really need nowadays. I mean, we need that sense of pushing the youth forward, having them to discuss their issues freely, and to have a direct contact with officials. So this could be probably the bottom line. I guess that such a conference is quite a bit important. This is expected to be the 6th conference. Yes. And every time I watch it, I say to myself that this is a positive step forward. Yes, we do have, I'm not saying that the picture is completely rosy, but I'm not also saying that it's very dark. Yes, we have a lot of positives, and we have also certain defects and the challenges, if I would say so. And so when it comes to such a conference, in my humble opinion, it's going to be a very step forward to our target at the end.
Definitely a very step forward to our target at the end. And the youth conferences are a venue for discussions, for the youth also to meet with decision makers, to know more, and also about the sense of awareness itself, because they are going to be in the heart of events through the different sessions, listening from the decision makers, and also about self-confidence, because when they find themselves, the youth themselves, asking the head of state, I guess it is a real honor and a pleasure. And also the sense of interest in the youth. It shows how the country, how the state is behind the youth. They are the treasure. They are our future. Let's watch this report together about Cairo University hosting this important event, the 6th National Youth Conference, and we'll be back.
Under the patronage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the 6th National Youth Conference will be held at Cairo University from the 28th to 29th July 2018, entitled Innovate, Advance, with the participation of 3,000 students from Egyptian universities and a number of scientists and officials in an open dialogue with youth. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said that the upcoming youth conference that is set to be held in Cairo University will witness an open dialogue with all Egyptian youth in all fields. Radi added that the experience of youth conferences is such as successful and unique because it gives the young people an opportunity to meet with political leaders and to be integrated in the political life. He added that President el-Sisi is keen to build bridges of dialogue and to enhance trust between the citizens and the political leadership. The choice of Cairo University as the venue of the conference that is the first to be held after the president assumed his 2nd term in office reflects the significant signs of how the president give a high priority to education and youth, putting building capabilities on top of the president's priority files during his stage. During the 2-day conference, many sessions will be held tackling the main urgent issues and files on the stage agenda, including the country's strategy in building human capabilities and developing education, as well as the government efforts in this domain, which illustrates the government vision to implement a new educational system with the challenges facing this process and its reflection on the society. During the second day, developing the healthcare system will be discussed in one session, followed by another that will tackle the national project for developing the country's database. Noteworthy, the official page of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi announced opening their doors to receiving Egyptian university students' questions from July 14th to July 24th for the Ask the President initiative. The President will also answer back the questions himself during the 6th edition of the periodical forum National Youth Conference, which will be held on 29th and 30th to July. The question that will be selected will offer an opportunity for the youth asking it to attend the conference. In October 2016, Egypt held its first National Youth Conference in Sharm el-Sheikh with the participation of 3,000 youth to talk with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and a number of officials and experts.
الحب يكون هو لغتها والناس تستمتع بحياتها
والخير يزيد ويفيض ويغطي حدود الأرض.
I dream a world where no one hates to hold a grudge.
Posto il una fotisi torni allora
dove si vive per l'amore che riempie il tempo di colore.
Любите жить то, что дается свыше нам. نحلم بالدنيا اللي يعيش فيها ناس بسلام، ناس يفكروا في المستقبل يشوفوا القدام. الحلم بيلمع بعيونهم مو فارقة للونهم ولا دينهم،
بس قابلين كل اختلافاتهم عايشين مع بعض.
أحلم بمكان الحب بيطرح فيه ويملاه، أحلم بمكان في كل اللي احنا بنتمناه
وما نتحججش بأي
Beautiful song like بحلم بمكان, I dream, and dreams are always among the aspirations of the youth. When the youth are present, there are dreams. They have the big dreams. You one day had a big dream too.
That's very true, Tagreed. As a matter of fact, I was educated in Egypt during my undergraduate studies and also postgraduate studies. And after completion of my PhD degree, I was trying hard to find a position, a teaching position to teach in the US. And believe it or not, it took something like few months in order to get a teaching position in the US, but it worked at the end. So the bottom line here is that if you would like to get something, you can get it once you have the determination and the persistence for doing this. And so if we don't have a dream, then we wouldn't move forward. So it's all about dreams, and that's all about hopes. So today, when we talk about that we have a dream, to put our country on the forefront and to do our best to move forward, this is probably going to be the best way to proceed forward. Even after spending a while in the US universities teaching there, once I found another position here in my country, then I took a decision to come back and to teach here in Egypt.
And that's the sense of belonging, because definitely we owe a lot to our country.
That's very true, because this is the homeland. Mm-hmm. This is a country where I was educated before, and I felt like it is part of my duty to get back and to help my fellows and to help my students, because this is the passion that you have inside yourself. And if you just have this passion, then you will be able to do what you want to do. So again, there is nothing called desperation. Yes, we could have some frustrations. Mm-hmm. We could have some disappointments. But don't make yourself to be overwhelmed by such frustrations. I mean, you have to overcome such a challenge in order to get your target at the end.
Definitely, what you're saying is very wise and true. And this important conference is going to be attended by youth from the different Egyptian governorates. And that's the best story about it, you know. You find a great exposure, the youth coming from different governorates sharing. From Benha University, I have all the honor to have with me over the line Professor Dr. Noha Hussein. Good day to you, Professor Noha. Good evening.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Ahmed.
Hello, Dr. Noha. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Thank you. Well, we were saying that the youth all over Egypt are really enthusiastic about the National Youth Conference. This is the 6th.
Yeah.
It's always a great opportunity to meet with the president and to have inquiries, to ask questions, to know more about our lovely country, because the youth has to know more about the different achievements that are taking place everywhere in Egypt, and also share in our fight today. Our fight today is for development. Dr. Noha.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'd like to say something, to say it's nice to see you, Dr. Ahmed, on the screen, and especially in such a wonderful channel like Nile TV.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm one of your fans, and I always follow your posts on Facebook and read your articles in the newspaper.
Thank you so much.
Again, I'd like to thank you for Mr. Tagreed. I'd like to thank you for two things. The first thing, your special taste in choosing this topic, which I'm sure will make a real difference at the end of the program. Second, I'd like to thank you for letting me the chance to share my experience here. As an English instructor for Faculty of Engineering University students, for a couple of years, in the very beginning of every semester, I ask my students about their expectations after graduation. And I elicit ideas which are a true matter of what the society expects them to be. On very few occasions, I receive an answer that satisfies me and suits the hard economic, social, political conditions in Egypt. And guess what, Doctor? The answers are always divided by classifications, as far as I call them. Some students are for the inherited concepts that after graduation there is no other choice except working as engineers, and engineers only, from the beginning of the career. And other students have different dreams of working in business field. I'm used to not giving them any first-hand impression or feedback, but just to listen carefully to their dreams. However, my brain and heart entirely support the thinking out of the box and not waiting for the work as engineers in companies or in the governmental institutions.
Professor Noha, yes, I'm with you in that point, and definitely, Dr. Ahmed, I think that we agree with us both that thinking out of the box is very important, to think unconventionally and to bring about ideas that are innovative. How can we, Dr. Noha, encourage our students to be more of innovative students, to be more through innovation and to be more creative, in your opinion?
Okay, there are many ways, but I'm telling you about my experience in the Faculty of Engineering. They are skillful students, and they are good students in learning. Their levels are okay, but I'm trying to accept the new concepts of working other jobs than being an engineer only, especially at the beginning of their career. With the passing of years, I began to spread the word and tell them what I see. I suggest, for example, for the mechanical department students to work as mechanics on summer vacations and earn money. And
that's very important, because we encourage vocational training as well. So she's talking about summer vacations and how to utilize them.
Right.
Yes.
It's a practical idea. When I, as a university teacher, deliver them this idea that the concept that I accepted this, and it's okay, it's not a bad thing to work as mechanics, as, for example, salesperson, as even a driver in Uber or Kareem, something like this. So I encourage them that the society will accept the new ideas or new kinds of jobs that
the market needs.
To some extent weird or strange or unfamiliar in our society in Egypt.
Right, Professor, Doctor, Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Noha Hussein, professor at Banha University. Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Noha talked about unconventional means. She talked about introducing new ideas to her students and encouraging them even to go for jobs that are unconventional as well. Like they are going to be graduating as engineers, however, encouraging vocational training. Why not a mechanic as well?
Right. And let me just connect that with our topic, because when we talk about the students, undergraduate students, we are talking about young generations.
Yes, the youth.
We are talking about the youth.
Exactly.
And since we are talking about the mechanism and the strategy for building up the youth, it's not just something related to during their education years, but it's more about, and you just mentioned a very strategic and very interesting word, it is awareness.
Yes.
And if we just talk about the awareness here, this is probably can be the basic point for building the generation. So it's more about the awareness, and it's more about the identity. It's more about who we are and what we are doing in our lifetime. And do we have role models that can really be followed? Because young generations need something like that. And we do need as well also to determine and to set our objectives and our goals. If you just walk down in the streets nowadays, if you just ask the youngsters, tell me what is your target, some of them probably might be confused about that. So we do have a problem here. It is a complicated problem that we have nowadays, which is to set our target and to set our goal at the end. Now back again to the awareness, because this is a critical point. This is what we are witnessing nowadays. We probably sometimes face a lack of awareness. And what does it mean, awareness? It means more about what is the representations and your experiences in your lifetime, culturally, on the cultural level, on the social level, in every aspect in your lifetime. And so, and as we are talking about the conference, one of the things that I would hope that one day we can just have, it just few years ago, we had a program or a festival. It was called Reading for All Festival, if you remember that, Tagreed.
We are following here excerpts of earlier sessions of the National Youth Conference and specifically Ask the President initiative, where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi answers the youth questions. And such sessions are really very important. This is what we're talking about as the free engaging discussions with the youth. From the words that Dr. Noha said, she also pointed out to the fact that she is discussing more about her students' future. They engage together in free discussions. Tell me more about this bridge, and did this happen back in the States as well?
Well, this is probably can be a very interesting question, because, you know, well, a lot of people, they used to ask me the same question. How do you compare, how do you see such comparison between the students in the US and the Egyptian students? And just to, let me just go straight forward with you. I'm not saying that the students outside Egypt, they are superior or they are fantastic, and the students here in Egypt are not like that. No. I mean, if you have a deep look at the situation here in Egypt, and if you just handle the issue of some obstacles that we have, and then you're going to have the Egyptian students performing in the same way like outside. And the evidence is, if you just send the Egyptian students outside, they're going to make a great job.
Yeah.
So it's not here the problem of the Egyptian students.
How can we bring this sense of creativity out from our students? You're a professor at university.
Right.
And every day you meet your students, you discuss with them more issues.
Right.
You know their strong points. And how can we make them work in teams? Because this is also another issue of culture. Working in teams is very important.
You know, and you're just touching a very sensitive nerve. It's more about the culture of the teamwork, which we are sometimes missing in Egypt. And so one of the things that I used to make with my students is just to push them forward to work.
Not all the time, but we need to inject more.
That's very
we need to inject more in the...
But the point here is that when you just make the students interact together and you push them forward to work closely together, this is one of the things that I used to make when I came back from the US. It's just how can we find a way to push them to interact closely and in a teamwork. The culture of group working. This is probably can be one of the key.
Working on our strength.
Right, right. This is one point. And the other point is, as I mentioned before, it's all about the objectives and the goals. So from the very beginning, the culture of ambitions as well. And the culture of
Dream big.
dreams. Here we go.
Dream big.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is what we really need. I do remember the words of Martin Luther King when he said, "I have a dream," and the dream came true after that. And so when I wanted to make the students, and I'm trying to do that as a matter of fact, to say the same sentence. I have a dream that one day I would be so and so and so.
What are the dreams of your students, Professor Ahmed?
Well, you know, it depends on the students, as a matter of fact. But again, I mean, if one day I asked my students a simple question. So what would you like to do after graduation? And I found some of them are confused about the question. Some of them said, we would like to get experience abroad. And they asked me the question back, what do you think about that, Dr. Ahmed, if we had the chance to travel abroad? And I said, okay, if you'd like to do that, then go ahead, get the international experience, but you should come back one day to help your country. This is a point.
Yes.
And what I really felt from them, that they are lacking role model. And so, and today we have, in our Egyptian community, we have a lot of role models.
Lots of role models, definitely.
For example, in the science, you have Dr. Zuhail. You have in the medical field, you have Dr. Magdi Yaqub. Even in sports, you have the player,
Mo
famous
Salah.
player, Mo Salah. Here we go. If you just put something like that in front of their eyes, they're going to follow that, and they will be motivated. This is the point. Motivation. How can we make them motivated? I know that there are a lot of challenges, but at the same time, it is part of our role to help them to move forward.
We're talking about role models, and what a great example, Mo Salah. Whenever we're out of the country and we meet with friends abroad, they always like correlate Egypt and the Egyptians today with Mo the master. With the charm of Mo.
With the king.
With the king, yes. We have with us Professor Nada Ali, and she's an expert in public relations. Dr. Nada, we're talking about role models, and I have all the honor to have with me Dr. Ahmed Abdeltawab, and we're speaking about how can we like bring out the creativity in the youth and have role models that will be quite inspiring for them. Mo Salah is a great role model, and you as the expert in public relations, how can we like work on such characters who are as inspiring as Mo, in your opinion?
First, I'd like to greet Dr. Ahmed and tell him thank you very much. He's been a very great aid to me in my recent studies, and he changed a lot in my personality. I'd like to thank you to YouTube, because you've been a great innovator in the media field. Since I too work in the media, so thanks a lot. You're the best.
Thank you, Nada. Nada, how can we like work on characters like Mo Salah and Dr. Magdi Yaqub, and those characters that are really inspiring for the youth today and marketing Egypt as well?
Yeah, Mo Salah is an example of one of the best, because he represents, he just gives them the power or the internal power of how to find yourself. You just how to get the internal power inside of you and try to do something. You are something. Every one of us is something inside of him, but no one knows what he is unless you give him a chance. Someone like Mo Salah is an excellent player. Our professors who traveled abroad, they're great, and we know they're great, and they're already great from the beginning. But they didn't do this until they found themselves. They tried. They did their best. They found someone to challenge them, someone to push them on, telling them that you're the best. So we must do this with the youth too. So we'll find that the sixth conference, the sixth youth conference that would be held on Saturday or Sunday and Monday on the 28th and 29th is a very good chance for our youth, because it would minimize the gap between youth and the government, the president, the old generations, because mostly the young probably think that you're old-minded. You're not like us. You don't understand us. Yet we do understand them, but we don't give them the internal power. We don't tell them, go on, you're right. Most of the parents tell their children, no, you're wrong, I'm right. There's nothing called wrong and right. Just how about thinking that they are right too, but they see it from a different perspective. They have a lot to do. They have other tools, other motives, and we don't see it. They have solutions to a lot of our problems that we can't solve because we solve it in stereotype-like solutions, which isn't the right way. And either on the educational level, on the economic level, on sports, in any field you'll find. All of this cooperate together to create something, to create a global village, as they say. They have a lot to do on the technical side. They're the first ones who created or invented the social media, so they can do a lot in digitalizing, as they say, the society. But just give them a chance. We must give them this chance.
We are definitely working on giving more chances to the youth, and the youth are the future. We are investing in them. Ms. Nada Ali, expert in public relations field, thank you so much for joining us. Cairo University, that educational edifice, hosting this important conference is in itself a message that Egypt sends throughout to the whole world. What an educational edifice, and addressing the youth from Cairo University, Mr. President, what a great honor. Let's watch this report and we'll be back.
Cairo University has been decorated to receive Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi within the framework of the 6th edition of the National Youth Conference set to be held there on the 28th to 29th of July. The modern educational system was one of the developments that were witnessed in Egypt in the first half of the 19th century. It is closely linked to the political renaissance project that was founded by Muhammad Ali Pasha, and before Muhammad Ali Pasha's rule there was no specific educational system in Egypt except Al-Azhar and some schools that were subordinated to mosques and Quran schools and cities and villages, but they were all without connecting system that made them educational unit. Cairo University is Egypt's premier public university. Its main campus in the Giza, immediately across the Nile from Cairo. It was founded on the 21st of December 1908. However, after being housed in various parts of Cairo, its faculties, beginning with the Faculty of Arts, were established on its current main campus in Giza in October 1929. It is the second oldest institution of higher education in Egypt after Al-Azhar University, notwithstanding the pre-existing higher professional schools that later became constituent colleges of the university. It was founded and funded as the Egyptian University by a committee of private citizens with royal patronage in the 1908 and became a state institution under King Fuad I in 1925. The university currently enrolls approximately 155,000 students in 22 faculties. Since its foundation, the university was keen on keeping Arabic as a teaching language in the university, as well as providing staff members with sound scientific preparation in order for the university to become dispensed with foreign professors and to provide them with chances to play roles in defining modern knowledge. Therefore initiated a private mission of Egyptian students chosen by technical committee through examination, provided that they commit themselves to work in serving the university after obtaining scientific degrees and returning to Egypt. The National University, since its emergence until being converted to a government university, managed to provide suitable atmosphere to academic education and achieve scientific and cultural communication between itself and high schools.
So we're talking about that great educational edifice,
Right.
Dr. Ahmed, and
Right.
the venue, when it is from Cairo University, when the message is from Cairo University, definitely it is of great significance.
Absolutely right. It speaks volume, and it sends a message, a very clear message to the whole world that one of the major priority for Egypt nowadays is just to have a deep look at education and connect that with the youth. And so this is the message, and because we were talking again about identity, it also sends a message to to everyone in the country that there is an identity. And here when I talk about the identity, I'm not talking just about the past, but I'm talking about the present. And as we are talking about young generations, then we are talking also about the future. We used to say that we have 7,000 years civilization. Well, this is fantastic, and this is great, but we have to move forward also to the future perspective.
Right.
And this is, I think, by using Cairo University, and today we have the Minister of Education who's truly making a great job. I heard about an initiative, another fantastic initiative, but the problem is there is no much spotlights on that. The initiative is to connect each student in Egypt with the electronic system online.
Yes.
And so each student, starting from next year, he or she will have a tablet and everything will be used electronically.
This is the same system that
That's
you were used to
in the U.S. and in every
US.
country, and
Yes.
most countries in the world today. So
How will it facilitate the story for our students, Professor?
I think that it happens step by step on a gradual level. Some students, and I'm pretty sure about that some students will say, no, we are not used for that. But I'm sure that all of them at the
When
end,
you're going to go into the system, they are going to feel
Right.
the benefits.
Absolutely at the end. But you know, Tagreed, sometimes that some people probably, they are reluctant to any kind of change.
Of change, yes.
And when you tell them that we're going to change the whole educational system, they'll say, no, we would like to stay on the same way. On the same way, the same strategy, we don't want to change. But the problem is today that we have...
How can we engage them in this change? Because they should know that this change is for the better.
Well,
when they know that this is going to make the story easier, facilitate their lives, definitely they will get engaged.
Right. I mean, if you just... I think that this is also something related to the whole program that should be clearly explained to each one in Egypt. And I think that there is a problem here that not everyone is aware for what's going on. And so if you just tell them, show them the benefits of such new educational program, I think the situation will be different. If you just put them the motivation, and there is also something else, respecting their mindsets, something that is quite a bit interesting as well. This what will happen in the conference. The direct contact between the young generations and the ministers.
Yes,
we're going to have a lot of
decision makers.
Right. And so this is what we need, because you are approaching a new change in our society, and for such conference, then we will have those who are responsible for a change will come and talk.
Yes.
And so this is the critical point that we really need. I mean, we don't want to read all the information from the media outlets, from the newspapers, and listen to some news, but we need that sense of interaction. And in this way, people, all of them, will be convinced about that. And I'm pretty sure it will not happen suddenly. It takes time, yes. It takes efforts, yes. But at the end, it will happen. So if you just show them the whole picture and show them also what we have outside Egypt, then they will be convinced that there is a wide gap that should be bridged as soon as possible. We have another initiative from the Ministry of Higher Education, by the Minister of Higher Education, that everything will be handled electronically starting from next year. And so this is a fabulous step. When I was in the US, everything in education is based on online. So if you wanted to send a message, if you want to make anything, it is by the electronic system. I understand that the mentality sometimes and the mindsets could be different, but it happens step by step, and at the end we can just get our targets.
We are getting our targets. The President is giving this file of youth special attention, and we can feel that with his presence, putting his weight behind the sessions, attending all the sessions, feeling free to answer all the questions. The youth themselves, without any sort of embarrassment, can put on their questions and put forward and ask. This sense of having confidence in the youth, how do you feel about that?
I think that this is extremely important step. Probably this is the first time to see the top official in our country just coming and attend such sessions, all of the sessions, listening to different views. This is something that is extremely important. There is a very open channel now. There is also a link online. There is a website that if you'd like to ask any question online, you can just raise the question and it will be handled in a way or another. I mean, that sense of having close initiative and just to make close to the public, this is probably what we are trying to have, because sometimes you can find that there is a wide gap, as I mentioned before, between what is being written or said and what we have on the ground. Here, by this conference, in my humble opinion, we can just find a bridge between both sides.
Yes, that great bridge. It's a bridge. This conference is actually a bridge throughout the different governorates of Egypt. And I'm really happy to be joined from Mansoura by our researcher here, Abu al-Majd al-Sumbati. Abu al-Majd, very good evening to you.
Good evening to you. How are you doing?
How are you, dear? And let me see more concerning your opinion and your expectations of the 6th National Youth Conference, and how such conferences are a great opportunity for the youth, and we can follow of seeing eye to eye on how their voices heard today. Abu al-Majd.
Let me first thank you for having me today with your show, and to welcome Dr. Ahmed for his great performance today and his great perspectives. And let me say first, when I talk with my friends or when I think myself about youth, I always say that youth are the wealth for Egypt. We must make the best use of their efforts, not to let them go abroad and like help other countries to make progress and not to help our nation.
Dr. Ahmed went abroad and he came back because he loves this country, and there is a sense of belonging. Abu al-Majd, how can we further foster this sense of belonging to Egypt?
This is the second point I was about to say, that we need to raise the awareness for all the youngsters in different fields, like the political side, economic side, and so on, and especially the educational side, as the next conference will be about. And it's a good way to gather many students or many youngsters, and to meet the experts in different fields. I think this is a way to feel that, yes, we are listened to, we have the opportunity to express ourselves and to express our points of views and so on. Also, it's a good way to say that, yes, we do not follow instructions to the letter. We are listening to the experts and to expressing our points of view, so are making the mix. We are integrating both powers and efforts of youth and the experts in different fields to make progress to our lovely Egypt.
Great, Abu al-Majd. Dr. Ahmed, would you like to Abu al-Majd?
Hello, Abu al-Majd. How are you?
Doing great, Dr. Ahmed.
Abu al-Majd is one of the most interesting students. I was teaching him as well, and he is looking forward for participation in different conferences. The interesting part that I'm trying to do with my students is just how can we find the word passion,
yes,
and how can we translate
when you do your
that.
job with passion,
right,
definitely it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Abu Ahmed, you're 25 years old, right?
Yes.
So you are
Yes.
the youth and you are the future of Egypt, the future of this country. I was talking with Professor Ahmed concerning making our dreams big for Egypt and big for ourselves. We always say like dream big, and we were talking about injecting this positive energy around. So let me know more about your dreams.
Yeah, one of my dreams to make other youngsters passionate, like I've learned from Dr. Ahmed. He always stresses this point. Abu Ahmed, you are very passionate. I like your passion. I'd like to spread this passion to all of the youth. Yes, sometimes we may find some defects and so on, but we need to concentrate on the positive points here. So I dream that all the youth can gain information or experience in different fields, and whether here or abroad, in Egypt or abroad, but to come back to Egypt to make it in the front line in with the great country.
Great, Abu Ahmed Sumbati, a researcher, one of Egypt's youth, a great example. I thank you so much because you talk to us with passion as well.
Right.
And keep up the positivity that you have. Thank you so much, Abu Ahmed Sumbati, for joining us. Those are the youth of Egypt, Professor. And we need, yes, that they would have this optimistic sense for the future. We are helping them for a better quality of life. Yes. We're working hard day and night. The president, the whole team are working. We as Egyptians, we need to see this country definitely better and having a quality of life for all Egyptians. More about injecting positivity in the lives of youth.
Right.
How can we push forward that? Because sometimes you find that the youth, we were talking about role models, so they need this inspirational examples around.
That's true. And so, as Abu Ahmed just mentioned, I think that he hit the nail on the head, and he mentioned something very, very important, that we have to focus most of the times on the positive points. Yes, we understand that there are some defects and there are some challenges in our lifetime, but the point is it doesn't work if we just talk all the time and criticize all the time. But we have to make something positive and practical in our lifetime. And it's not just for you, but to help the other generation coming after you. Because this is what we learned from our professors one day. To this concept and this culture, to extend your hand to the other, it is enjoyable. When you see the enjoyment and happiness in the eyes of the other people, this is the true meaning of happiness, to see it in the eyes of the other people. Now, because I am in the field of education, I think we need that. We need to focus on how can we find a way to be successful, and how can we make the best use of our resources.
And our treasures, because the youth are the potential, they are the future.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And if you, when I was in the US, I met a lot of Egyptian students. They were performing tremendously great. They were making a great job there, and I was so proud of them. And so from that point, I realized that our generation, our young generation, they do not have a severe problem. No, but it's more about how to deal with them and how to get down to earth and how to get closer to them. In this way, we probably will be reaching our target. But if you just make something like a disconnection between what you are saying in the class and something else different happening outside the class, that doesn't work. And this is, we can just take a lesson like that in our lifetime. If you just say something, then you have to apply it but don't say such words without actions. We would like to change the culture to be more actions and less words.
Right, more action and less words. And well, in Europe and abroad also they train the trainers, they coach the coaches. So this is also very important,
Yes.
the role of professors in our universities today, and the way they approach their students, and the way where they also send information. We were talking about teamwork, we were talking about working on the strong points of their students and more.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think also the world today is different. And so, and even the new generations are also different. They are coming with new technological perspectives. They can reach any kind of information they want. And so the mindset should be different. And so when you deal with them, it's not the same way as we used to have before in the last 20 years ago, for example. And so this is the point. It is more about understanding that there is a dramatic change. I have, for example, my nephew nowadays, who is 10 years old, and nowadays he's creating videos on YouTube, and he has his own channel on YouTube.
Yes, great.
And I told him when I was 10 years old at that time, it was completely different
story. Yes.
See, so now this is the point. The generation, the young generation, should have a new approach, new ways, and we should first of all create that sense of passion and implementing as much as we can the concept of dreams, and to do the right thing. And as Martin Luther King said before, time is always right to do what it is right. And so I think that we are making something right nowadays.
We're making something right nowadays, a best closure for this episode, and we're looking forward for more to come from the 6th National Youth Conference. We're waiting for a lot from our youth, our treasure, our future. I thank you so much, Professor Ahmad Abdel
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Who is Assistant Professor of Linguistics at Munufia University. Thank you for coming to the debate tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I thank you, dear viewers, for joining us. And that was this special edition on the 6th National Youth Conference. I'm Tagreed Hussein, wishing you a very pleasant viewing. Thanks for watching.